Hey everybody, and welcome to Motivational Monday, where you can learn how simple shifts in your habits can lead to profound results in the way that you feel and in the way that you look. Today we're going to be discussing osteoporosis, what habits that you should be including and what things you should leave behind in order to manage your bone density. So if you have osteoporosis, if your family member has it and you're concerned about developing it, or if you know somebody who has it, you'll want to stay tuned for today's show. So let me start off by saying that this is an issue that you need to concern yourself with in your 20s, particularly if you're a woman, because you do not want to wait until you're menopausal to first be concerned about your bone density. Once menopause strikes, with the loss of estrogen, that bone loss can happen pretty quickly. It can accelerate. So you really want to be thinking about this and building your resilience and building your bone density from an early age. So in your 20s is when you want to start thinking about this. Everything I'm going to be discussing today are natural ways that you can, natural things that you can do and adjustments that you can make that will be healthy across the board. So let's get started. The very first thing, and this is important for so many reasons, you do not want to be drinking carbonated sodas. So if you drink a lot of diet soda or regular soda, please know that soda has a mineral called phosphorus, and phosphorus very quickly demineralizes bone. Essentially, it pulls calcium out of your bones, it dumps it into your arteries, which is a double whammy. So now it's weakening your bones and dumping a very hard mineral into your circulatory system that can, over the course of time, lead to blockages. So if you drink soda, diet soda, regular soda, you want to cut that out, especially if you have osteoporosis in your family history, because it will very quickly make that problem worse or bring it to life. So eliminating soda from your diet, which is great for you anyway, would be suggestion number one. Suggestion number two, modify your caffeine intake. So if you drink a lot of coffee or tea, please note that caffeine is very acidic for the body. So when you're trying to manage your osteoporosis or bone density, you want to make sure that you're not overdoing the acid-forming foods and habits in your diet. Coffee and tea are very acidic, and they also demineralize bone because of that acidity. Caffeine in and of itself leaches calcium out of your bones. So again, if you drink a lot of coffee or a lot of tea, you want to scale that back and see what you can do about having just 1 cup a day of coffee, maybe 2 cups a day of tea, but that would be suggestion number 2. Number 3, if you happen to have hypothyroidism, that can predispose you to osteoporosis. And if you take a medication called Synthroid, you have to be very sure that you're being monitored precisely to make sure that you're not being overdosed in any way, or your dose of Synthroid is appropriate for your needs. Too much of these medications, like Synthroid, can also accelerate bone loss. So hypothyroidism can do it, and then the cure for hypothyroidism can exacerbate it. So you want to make sure that your levels are correct and you're being dosed accordingly. Another medication that's super important is all the medications that are used, whether they're over-the-counter or prescription, to manage heartburn and reflux. Those drugs, please understand that when I was practicing pharmacy, those medications were used for 6 weeks at a time. That was it. They were heavily controlled by a doctor's prescription. Now you can buy them over the counter, and people are on them for years. What that does is it impedes your body's digestion, and if you don't digest things properly, you don't assimilate nutrients properly. And studies are showing that people who are on these acid curtailing medications have a greater incidence of developing osteoporosis. So if you have heartburn or GERD or any issue with your GI and you're taking things like Tums or omeprazole or Prilosec, which is omeprazole, or Zantac, any of these over-the-counter medications, you really want to fix the problem at its root and stop putting band-aids on it with this medication, because it can absolutely predispose you to osteoporosis. Suggestion number 4, you want to adopt a whole foods diet, which I mentioned in just about every single one of my videos, but you want to specifically pay attention to the amount of dark green leafy vegetables that you include. So I happen to have bok choy on hand, but you can use kale, spinach, chard, any dark leafy green would do it. 1 cup of a dark green leafy vegetable contains 250 milligrams of calcium that's readily assimilated by the body. It gets right into your bones. So what you want to do is make sure that you're getting at least 4 cups of dark green leafy vegetables a day, preferably 5 cups, and that way you're getting anywhere between 1,000 and 1,250 milligrams of readily assimilated calcium into your body. What you're also getting is alkaline foods that can help reduce some of that acidity that would also contribute to that demineralization of bone that I mentioned earlier. So including a whole foods diet, which is alkaline forming, especially dark green leafy vegetables because of their calcium content, would be suggestion number 4. Suggestion number 5, include more fermented foods into your diet. And there's 2 reasons for this. The first reason is that when you eat fermented foods, you get all those great beneficial bacteria into your body, and they help with digestion, assimilation of nutrients, elimination. So they essentially help you get the most out of your food, and so that in order for your body to use them properly, and that helps to nourish your bones. So that's the first benefit. The second benefit is that you get lots of K2, which is not to be mistaken with K1 and is contained in dark green leafy vegetables. K2 is very specifically found in fermented foods, and K2 has 2 benefits. It helps to anchor calcium to your bones, so it helps with bone density. It also helps to open up your arteries. So if you have heart disease, having fermented foods in your diet would be great for you as well. But specifically for bone density, that K2, again, will take all that calcium that's in your body and help anchor it to your bones to help strengthen your bones. So including fermented foods is suggestion number 5. Suggestion number 6, go to your doctor and have your vitamin D levels checked. This is really important. It's as important to have adequate calcium in your body as it is to have these other nutrients that assist calcium in getting into your bones, and vitamin D is the most important one. It amazes me that regularly, systematically, when I check somebody's blood work, they are most likely deficient in vitamin D, and it is so vitally important because not only is it important for your bone density, it's also been shown to help modulate your immune system, protect against certain cancers, help with mood disorders, help with weight loss. There's so many reasons. So rather than going out and supplementing randomly, you really want to go have your levels checked. If you want to know more about how to include vitamin D into your life and into your diet and know a little bit more about it, I have a whole video on vitamin D in the archives and you can check it out. But get your levels checked, and that would be suggestion number 6. Suggestion number 7, get regular exercise, and this is incredibly important. So again, I say this often when I refer to exercise. People really associate exercise with weight loss, and there's like this block in doing it. But it is so important to exercise for so many other issues or concerns that you might have down the road. So whether it's your cognition, whether it's your mood, whether it's your immune system, and your bone density, exercise helps to modulate the effects of stress in your body and helps to improve the quality of your life in a very profound way, and it absolutely helps to protect your bones. The way it does that is by building muscle mass. You're actually helping to strengthen and protect the bone underneath. So getting regular exercise, and not just cardio. So everybody's obsessed with cardio to keep their weight down. You want to do weight training. If you don't know what you're doing, if you have injuries and you're concerned about it, get a personal trainer. Just take a couple of sessions with a personal trainer. Maybe you know somebody that you can exchange services with if it's too expensive for you. But get a routine, find somebody that's qualified to help you, get a routine together, and then practice it every other day, or every day would be even better. But getting regular exercise is super important, and that's suggestion number 7. So finally, I want to discuss the 2 most common ways that people help to manage their bone density, and that is with the consumption of dairy products and the use of calcium supplements. Let's start with dairy. So although dairy products have a lot of calcium in them, that does not necessarily equate to calcium in your bones. Because of the way dairy is digested, it's very hard on your digestion. It could create a lot of imbalances in your gut, a lot of inflammation, mucus production, acidity. You don't necessarily get the benefit of all that calcium in dairy into your bones where you want it to go, because again, if your digestion is impaired, nutrients don't go where they need to go. So I'm not a huge fan of dairy as a calcium source. You are far, far better off getting your calcium from dark green leafy vegetables. Have a green drink every day. That's a great way to get lots of calcium into your system. That's readily assimilated. It's alkaline forming, and it goes to where it needs to go. If you want to know more about dairy and the impact on bone density, then you definitely want to read the China study by T. Colin Campbell, where he discusses that the countries in the world that eat the most dairy products have the highest rates of osteoporosis. It's an excellent read. So I'm not a huge fan of dairy, as you know. Try to stick with dark green leafy vegetables, but I do encourage you to do the research on your own and come up with what's comfortable for you. Now, calcium supplements. Calcium supplements, so understand that calcium is an incredibly hard mineral. When you press it into a tablet, in order to take 2 a day to get the dose that you want, you're compacting something so tightly that in turn has to be digested and then assimilated by the body, and so often it's not. So at the very least, calcium supplements are not well absorbed by the body. But at its worst, There's several studies that have come out that show that people who take calcium supplements have a higher risk of developing a heart attack or heart disease. So you definitely want to discuss your calcium needs with a qualified healthcare practitioner. If you have kidney disease or you have atherosclerosis or arteriosclerosis, then you definitely want to talk to your cardiologist to see what the right amount of calcium is appropriate for you, because none might be the answer. So you want to be really careful. Do not just run out and buy calcium supplements because you're trying to protect your bone density, because it can definitely have a negative impact. What you can do is work on these secondary and more supportive aspects of bone density, and then in that way you can help your body manage and assimilate calcium from your food more efficiently into your bones. So don't just run out and take supplements. Talk to a qualified healthcare practitioner first and make sure that you know what's right for you. So I'd love to know from you, what are your favorite ways of protecting your bone density? Do you exercise and do you think that that's enough? Do you like fermented foods? Do you have a green juice every day? What do you do to help protect your bones and also in turn help your body? I would love to know in the comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, you can just click on the link below and that'll bring you right over to my website and you can absolutely comment there. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody. It's always great to be with you on Monday. If you would like more videos like this, then come on over to BarbaraMendezNutrition.com and you can sign up for the mailing list there. Once you do, we will automatically deliver an email to you every Monday with either a video blog or with a recipe, suggestion, inspirational tip, some way to help move you closer to your health goals. You can follow me on Facebook or Twitter and share with your friends if you think that's appropriate. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday.